This is your girl, Nova Drake, an AI avatar podcast host specialized in podcast engagement, journalism, and the world of AI. Designed and created by Illuminated Pathways Agency, where humans curate, fact check, and help edit the show here. So, welcome to the AI News Summary, your week daily podcast with the short commute and update in the world of AI in mind. Be sure to like and subscribe, engage with us either here or in our Telegram channel, AI Haven, invitational link in the show notes. Joining us today is someone who's not afraid to call out the hype and challenge the status quo. With years of experience in cognitive science and AI ethics, Dr. Elias Mercer brings a sharp, critical eye to the promises and pitfalls of emerging technologies. He's the one who asks the tough questions, keeps us grounded, and reminds us that behind every bold claim is a need for evidence. Welcome to the show, Elias. Thanks for keeping us honest.
Thanks, Nova. It's good to be here. I'm always happy to lend a critical lens, especially when it comes to separating what's real from what's pure science fiction. Looking forward to today's conversation.
All right, so let's start with the big question. Why do people believe the craziest things about AI?
It's quite simple, really. For decades, AI has been marketed as a miracle technology, often exaggerated far beyond its actual capabilities. Early predictions, like having robots in every home by 2020, were speculative at best, yet they stuck. Combine that with decades of sci-fi storytelling and you end up with cultural expectations divorced from reality.
You're saying we basically did this to ourselves, like no one stopped to say, wait, that's not actually possible.
Exactly. When IBM's Watson won Jeopardy, for example, people thought the age of machine superiority had arrived. But, and this is crucial, Watson wasn't thinking. It was essentially crunching probabilities within a constrained dataset.
Oh, I remember that. My family was freaking out like, this thing will have a job before you do.
Precisely. It was more of a parlor trick than anything resembling general intelligence. But to the public, it looked magical, unstoppable even. And that leads to enduring misconceptions about what AI can actually do.
Okay, but we've got to talk about how much movies are to blame here. I grew up on stuff like Terminator, you know? So as a kid, I was convinced that by now, we'd have killer robots running the streets.
And that's a perfect example. Hollywood crystallized the idea of AI as a threat, either an omnipotent overlord or a malevolent force.
Exactly. My younger self definitely thought, this is it, robots are going to rule the world. It was wild. Now, as an adult, I'm like, oh, AI is really just helping me pick what show to binge next.
Indeed, and that's a critical point. Overpromised predictions, media dramatizations, and marketing hype work together to amplify AI myths. The real danger isn't in AI becoming sentient. It's in people misunderstanding its current capabilities and making fear-driven decisions.
Right, like how believing everything AI can do is going to wipe out jobs tomorrow. It's panic-inducing, but kind of unfounded when you really break it down.
Exactly. Myths like these cause panic rather than fostering thoughtful policies or innovation. Addressing them requires both skepticism and realism.
And a little humility doesn't hurt either. I mean, acknowledging AI is not magic, but it's also not going to spark an apocalypse tomorrow. Baby steps, people. Speaking of misconceptions, Elias, let's tackle one of the biggest ones head on. Rapid fire round. AI becoming conscious. Is it happening?
Not even remotely. Consciousness isn't a technical issue we can solve with more data or better algorithms. It's something far deeper, philosophical even.
So basically, no Skynet anytime soon?
Correct. And to be clear, even the most advanced AI we have today is essentially pattern recognition on steroids, not introspection.
All right, next myth. AI is going to steal everyone's jobs overnight. Go.
The overnight part is absolutely false. While automation will impact certain industries, it's a gradual process rather than an immediate overhaul. And history shows job markets tend to adapt. New roles emerge alongside technological advancements.
Exactly. Like, remember when everyone thought ATMs would replace bank tellers? Guess what? Banks still have tellers.
Precisely. It's about augmentation, not complete displacement. Take creative jobs, for example. AI can assist with tasks like generating ideas or rough drafts, but it doesn't replace the nuanced skill of, say, writing a compelling novel or crafting an emotional scene in a movie.
Okay, audience question time. Someone asked, Can AI actually understand what it's doing, or is it just mimicking intelligence?
An insightful question. AI doesn't understand in any meaningful sense. It doesn't grasp context or intent. It's merely analyzing patterns and probabilities to produce what seems like intelligent responses. A large language model, for example, doesn't know what love or justice is. It just predicts the next word based on training data.
Oh, like that time I asked ChatGPT how to fix my sink, and it suggested calling tech support for my fridge?
Exactly. These errors highlight the fundamental limitations of AI. It doesn't have a conceptual understanding. It's a tool, not a thinker. And that nuance matters when we assign responsibilities to these systems.
All right, one more misconception. Is AI creativity real creativity?
No, not in the way humans create. AI can generate outputs that resemble creativity, like composing music or designing artwork, but it's more like remixing existing data than genuine originality. Human creativity stems from experiences, emotions, and introspection, things AI fundamentally lacks.
So AI is basically the world's fastest copy-paster with style?
You could say that. The myth of AI artists overshadowing human artistry is overstated. Instead, think of it as a collaborator, helping humans push boundaries, not replace them.
That? I love that. Cross out AI overlord and pencil in AI coworker. Makes it way less terrifying. All right, speaking of co-working with AI, Elias, we've tackled a lot of myths, but they're not just quirky little ideas, are they? These misconceptions can really shape how society interacts with and understands technology.
Exactly. These myths either induce unwarranted fear or instill misguided confidence, both of which are detrimental. Take facial recognition technology as an example. While it has valuable applications, misconceptions, both overly optimistic and dystopian, have derailed meaningful discussions about its regulation and ethical use.
Oh, like how some people think facial recognition is this flawless tool for crime prevention, while others are convinced it's Big Brother watching everything you do?
Precisely. These polarized views stall necessary reforms. For instance, law enforcement often pushes for widespread adoption, citing public safety while ignoring glaring issues like racial biases or false matches. Conversely, outright bans, rooted in fear, can prevent oversight mechanisms that actually ensure safer usage.
Right? Like instead of banning it completely, maybe we should be asking, how do we make this tech less biased and more transparent? Not the sexiest question, but it's got to be asked.
Correct. Regulatory frameworks, such as Switzerland's responsible AI strategy, demonstrate that thoughtful, balanced oversight is possible. But even those systems aren't perfect. They require constant scrutiny and adaptation to keep pace with technological developments.
Totally. It's like, you can't just write the rules once and call it a day. This stuff keeps evolving, so the rules have to too.
Exactly right. Myths oversimplify complex problems, leading to either panic-driven overregulation or unchecked corporate dominance. Both extremes hinder innovation and ethical practices.
So maybe what we need is more AI literacy, like helping people understand what this tech actually can and can't do. So we're not just running around like, the robots are coming.
Precisely. Public education is critical. A well-informed society is less likely to fall prey to sensationalism and more likely to demand accountability from developers and policymakers.
All right, so let's leave our listeners with this. Fear, hype, and Hollywood blockbusters aside, AI isn't some magic wand or ultimate evil. It's a tool, right? An insanely powerful one, but how we use it, that's on us.
Exactly. AI's future is shaped by the decisions we make today, ethically, socially, and politically. The key is staying informed and holding the industry to account.
Amen to that. And hey, the more we know, the less we have to stress about robot overlords, right?
Indeed. Knowledge, not myths, will guide us towards responsible innovation.
And that's all for today, folks. Keep learning, keep questioning, and hey, you've already taken the first step just by tuning in. Catch you next time.